What's up, geeks and everybody else, and welcome back to episode 7 of Geek Mythology, a podcast brought to you by Seth, also known as Sugi on YouTube.
And brought to you by my good friend Sal. And we also got a special guest in today's episode.
Hi, I'm God.
We've got Harry here from... Harry, an epic Twitch streamer. Do you want to, introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Harry. I also accept God and your savior. I have many channels on YouTube and Twitch. My Twitch is Harry the Almighty Wombat, and so is the YouTube channel which I just started. There's going to be a banger video coming out soon if I can actually be bothered to edit, which be probably like in a month. I also have a channel about solving Rubik's Cubes called Alpha Cuba. And a cycling channel called Harry Shreds.
Yeah, that's a lot of channels.
That sounds a bit aggressive.
They're the main ones. Yeah.
I'm sorry, your cycling channel is called Harry Shreds?
Yeah, because I'm cool.
Oh, okay.
Guys,
I thought Shreds was like...
That's why I'm here. Because everyone who does this is cool.
No, I'm genuinely now imagining torture devices which include bicycles.
Oh, great.
I mean, I did slice my leg open in the summer on the chain
God,
ring. Bike chain rings, the circle spiky things.
Yeah.
Yeah, turns out if one rams into your leg, it's not great.
Well, what a graphic way to start this episode.
Fun 3 days in hospital. Anyway,
this is going to be...
There's a reason you're here.
There's a reason Harry's here. If you don't know Harry, he is like a big Star Wars fan, and today is a Star Wars episode. Yay.
First part.
I'm a nerd.
You're a geek.
I am the geek.
Anyway, Seth, did you not forget?
Oh, what am I yeah, the joke. Anyway,
I don't think you're gonna forget, but I feel like I should always just say that.
Thing is, sometimes I like pretend to forget, but then there are occasions like today where I actually forgot. So, here's the joke. Did you hear about the claustrophobic astronaut?
Did he not have enough space?
Yep, he didn't have enough space. It's like the most obvious punchline ever.
That was true comedy. I actually planned to come on here and do a funny bit, but I didn't have much time to prepare. So
you told us about your leg injury. That's pretty funny, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Brutal injury.
Anyway,
I find that hilarious, to be honest.
There is a specific Star Wars series we will be talking about today.
And if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's like the best thing that Disney has made in terms of the Star Wars IP, franchise, whatever. The Mandalorian. So yeah, this episode is going to be all about The Mandalorian, specifically season 2. But if you haven't seen it, don't worry, you could see it like now and then watch this podcast like right after.
Yeah, go watch it. It's actually good.
But just in case you don't want to watch it now, basically there'll be a timestamp below. And we'll let you know when we talk about spoilers, but the first part of this podcast will be spoiler free. So yeah, if you do want to like listen without spoilers, you can. So, The Mandalorian season 1, we'll start off with that. What did you think about the show? Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm slightly derailing this.
Okay.
I have a little clip from episode 5. And it brought up some questions when I was listening to this the other day.
Okay.
And I had to ask. So, Sammy, I just want you to listen to this and see if you notice anything wrong with it.
Right?
Ones are very versatile.
Yeah.
Do all sorts of things.
An example of this book stuff, Seamus Gorman, right?
Okay.
We see him a lot mess up spells and it blows up in his face, literally. Right? So like we mentioned earlier, spells, you need the knowledge to pull them off with the hand movements and the correct incantations, like Wingardium Leviosa. What's the Seamus Gorman?
Yeah, so Seamus Gorman, who's that Harry Potter character then?
You know, it's the Scottish guy, the Welsh guy,
The Irish guy.
Do you mean it's Seamus Finnegan, the Irish half-blood? I think.
I think you've done your funny bit, Harry.
Also, he doesn't even mess up spells in the books. That's Neville who messed up spells. You might want to go reread the Harry Potter books.
Look, I've only got one of them, okay?
Seamus Gorman, the wizard,
Go buy them.
and Seamus Finnegan, the YouTuber.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually watching Seamus Finnegan's video just before I came on here. I was eating my lunch.
Funny moment.
Anyway, now that's
done. Did you want to do something like? Did you want to roast Sal about something? You know, you expressed interest in doing that on the show.
Another thing. How about you talk about the different Star Wars movies that you've seen?
Well, we've mentioned this many times. I've seen episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. I've seen Clone Wars. I've seen Rebels. I've seen Mandalorian. I've seen episode 7. I've seen episode 8. I've seen episode 9.
So you've basically seen everything except Star Wars.
I've even read the first book of a children's book Star Wars series called like Wild Space.
And you've even like watched Star Wars Resistance, which is quite insignificant.
First season.
You have not seen 4, 5, and 6.
Look, I was going to do it this half. I was going to do it this half term, then other shows took up my time. I've got Disney Plus, so I'll get on them soon.
Good.
Disappointment.
So yeah.
Anyway, do you want to go through episode or talk generally about season?
We're going to talk about the Mandalorian generally, and I do want to say I feel like the original trilogy isn't that like helpful as like a context to watching the show. I feel like the Mandalorian works so well as like a standalone. I feel like Rebels and Clone Wars make better like shows to watch if you do want context, because they focus on the Mandalorian stuff a bit more than the original trilogy.
The Mandalorians aren't the only mention of Mandalorians in the main series of films is, I believe, Jango Fett with the Mandalorian armor.
Yeah, and Boba Fett with the.
But I think in the original trilogy, the Boba Fett having Mandalorian armor, I think that was just his armor. I don't think people like.
They didn't like give it a name or anything.
At the time, I don't think it was like meant to be. I think he was just a dude
because
he wasn't a clone or anything.
Yeah, if you think about it, right? Star Wars literally started meaning to be one film, and then it became a series. So some things which aren't going to be the same, or there's going to be some inconsistencies sometimes.
I mean, and that brings me on to like
Boba Fett does actually appear in the first Star Wars movie.
It brings me on to how the Mandalorian actually like it ties in everything. There are no inconsistencies. They bring in like every single detail, like to the point where in the Mandalorian, the actual show, they bring in like things from the original trilogy and all these Easter eggs, to the point that they even bring in this Mandalorian like rifle from like one of the holiday specials, and that is like the Mandalorian's weapon. The pulse rifle. That was like from the holiday special. Boba Fett holiday special or something.
The 1988 something holiday special.
Yeah.
Also known as the greatest movie ever created.
So yeah, that pulse rifle was like it was originally from that, and they made it into canon. Well, like Disney canon. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, what did you think about the show in general? In terms of season 1? Good.
Alright, so
Harry, go first. Yeah.
Okay, so I really liked it. This is just a really small detail, but one of my favorite things about the show is there are multiple scenes of people being killed by doors.
Yeah.
And if you watch the original trilogy, like every door ever, it just slams down at like 500 miles.
Like a guillotine.
And everyone's I don't know if everyone thinks it, but like me and like my dad's a massive Star Wars fan as well, and we always just like talk about how we've always joked about like how come they never kill anyone? That must be such a safety hazard and all this. And now people are actually getting killed. I think a couple of scenes in the Clone Wars also have that.
Yeah, like deaths by door, and like
death by door. I appreciate it because
ways to die.
What's fun is like, have you ever had like moments where you get your finger stuck indoors? Like when you were younger, I guess.
I think I've got my finger stuck in a door once, and it wasn't even like bad.
Like your fingers get squashed by doors.
You lost a leg. You probably almost lost a leg to doors or something like that.
Surprisingly, doors have not hurt me. It's one of the few things that I know.
But like, imagine just you're a kid in the Star Wars universe, and you're playing around with doors, and you just die to a door. That's
yeah. Whenever I see people standing in doorways, I'm like, no, don't do that.
I was gonna say. Is honestly like season 1 is more of a setup season rather than like the most important seasons. You know, it's sort of just introducing him and other characters who come back occasionally, at least for a scene, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely the setup season. So like, of course, at the start, like literally, we've only heard the word Force once, and that's in season 2, right?
Yeah.
Is that true?
I think so.
Okay.
Because in season 1, they just called the Force.
They don't know what the Force. Yeah.
They called it the Magic Hands or whatever. Grief Karga, whatever his name was. He just called it Magic Hands. Yeah.
The Armorer is just like there are stories about the old Mandalorians fighting a race of sorcerers called Jedi. So even like the Armorer, who's probably the wisest person in that covert, didn't know exactly what it was. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think the Mandalorian is like. I feel like the Mandalorian is less than. I know the Mandalorian is like less than 100 years after Order 66.
Yeah, it's like
like, and that doesn't. When you think about it, like considering people like Yoda live for up to like 1,000 years and stuff. How does no one in the galaxy know what the Jedi are? They're like, oh, is there old stories about the Jedi?
I don't think it's no one in the galaxy. I think it's just these particular people have never been exposed to them.
But the thing is, like, even Rey, she didn't really know. She had heard of the Jedi, right? Even though she didn't think it was real. And this is even further into the future. And she lives in like in nowhere, but she still has heard of the Jedi. But Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, he literally grew up during the Clone Wars. His like backstory was like getting rescued by the Mandalorians, and there were like these flashback scenes of him running away from like separatist droids.
Yeah. There's because do you see the super battle droid?
Yeah.
And like
that's his like
presumably
backstory.
I don't think he's actually from Mandalore.
No.
They kind of imply he isn't.
He's like an adopted person.
Yeah.
He's a foundling.
Yeah.
He's not a Mandalorian.
But like he was alive during the Clone Wars, and
but even places like Tatooine in the Outer Rim, the Jedi like would go on missions there to like Jabba's palace and things like that sometimes.
But like even if you hadn't seen the Jedi in real life or seen it on the news, it would have surely been like a legend or story that your parents would have told you. It's one of those like things that is just passed down. It's like even if you think it's a myth, it's still like knowledge that the Jedi are
dragons.
A thing.
Even the shock trooper Cara didn't really know what it was. Like she hadn't heard about it.
Yeah, and literally Luke Skywalker.
She worked.
I feel like the New Republic
Luke
or the Rebel
Skywalker
Alliance
didn't actually like keep it a secret.
No, he was like, "I'm a Jedi. I saved the galaxy.
Sword. I have glowy sword. Hello."
Bit big-headed, isn't he?
So it's weird.
That's what I find strange is that nobody knows.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say this. We'll start talking about season 2 in a bit, but it's not that much of it. It's literally one line that somebody says, and it's not even that big in context, right? Just somebody says, "Thank the Force." So people have definitely.
I noticed that.
Saying. Right, yeah. And I was like, so there are still sayings with the
like,
Force.
May the Force be with you. Like, that's a big one.
The Mandalorian's version of May the Force be with you is "This is the way."
Yeah.
This is the way.
Yeah.
On Snapchat when Seth sent me like a thing about he sent me something about sending streaks, and I was gonna I was going to say that's the way you do it, but instead I decided no, this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Yeah. But season 1 was like, it introduced the characters. It introduced it set up the rest of the story, which I assume is all about like Baby Yoda and
the child,
and all about.
I don't know if we've said this before, right?
Okay.
Well, presumably it's all about the Mandalorian.
Yeah. I mean,
but
through my powers of deduction.
What I was gonna say is the fact that we might have said this before, but I think the Mandalorian is gonna be at least 4 seasons, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. It's the most successful thing they've done so far, I think. So they better.
Even without the success, right? I feel like the story they have would at least be 4 seasons long.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I just hope they don't start
screwing
something I've noticed.
Yeah.
Which is like a I guess a very slight spoiler for episode 1 of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
But there seems to be a lot of going to a place. The Mandalorian seems to have a lot of going to a place. He needs something. There's a problem. He solves their problem.
Then leaves.
He gets the thing.
Yeah,
it's like video. It's like video game side quests.
Yeah. The majority of like season 1 was like that. Apart from like episodes 1 to 3 had this like storyline, which wasn't too bad. But episode 4, 5, 6 was literally him going to different places and doing different jobs.
Video game side quests.
Yeah.
Getting jobs. Yeah.
And
so I feel like Sorry, Harry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just worried because if they keep doing this, it's just gonna get repetitive.
Yeah, it will get boring.
I don't feel like it's moving the plot on.
Yeah,
I feel they're just filler episodes.
That's the thing. I feel like season 2 is going to be the start of the proper story, right?
Hopefully,
whilst the end of season 1 introduced the proper story, but I feel like season 2 is going to start really doing it. And I did want to say something. You were going to start like what we think is going to happen, right?
Yeah. So
something I hope will happen. I kind of want the Mandalorian to get the black saber.
The dark saber. Yeah.
Yeah, the dark saber.
I think he will get it, but I don't think he will want it.
Hey, what is the dark saber? Because it's in the Clone Wars, but it's not really explained. He just kind of has it.
It's explained more in Rebels.
Yeah. So the dark saber is
the whole arc with the dark saber.
I'll explain it. So the dark saber was this lightsaber, which this ancient Mandalorian made,
Rebels.
And this like Mandalorian, his name was like Tar Vizsla. He was like a Jedi and a Mandalorian, and he made this saber. And then many generations later, this saber is like this symbol of unification, and whoever has it is supposed to like rule and unify Mandalore. So that's why in the Clone Wars, it was like one of Darth Maul's big aims was to get his hands on this saber, because it's kind of like the crown, I guess. It basically gives him power over Mandalore.
Wasn't one of the characters called like Pre Vizsla or something? Or was that the position of the...
Pre Vizsla is like... Yeah, I think he's one of the characters, and he's probably in the same clan.
Yeah.
I think got these like families and stuff.
Pre Vizsla was like an advisor to the ruler.
So yeah, the Mandalorians have like different clans, and they're different clans, I guess. And the Vizslas are like, I'd say they're the more violent ones. They're the more warrior type ones.
Yeah. They were like, wasn't that the guy who was like in Death Watch or whatever?
Yeah, Death Watch. And then you had like the pacifist ones. I don't remember their name.
Not Sabine.
It's not Sabine. It's like the Kryze, Bo-Katan and Satine. Yeah, Duchess Satine. That's so. There's like the peaceful ones, and yeah.
So what we learn in the end of season 1 is that I'm forgetting his name.
Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon. He was somebody who was in occupation of Mandalore, or like was there during the Purge.
Yeah,
Mandalore.
which is quite vague, but I assume like the Empire just invaded Mandalore.
I assume that's where they decided to wipe out the Mandalorians because they're probably quite a relatively big threat. Because I'd say one Mandalorian would be like similar to like a Jedi, like a lot. They could take out a lot of stormtroopers.
I don't know, because like
it depends.
The Mandalorians, like how many? They wouldn't be like against Jedi because like they did look like when a lot of the Mandalorian soldiers kind of like died really quickly to like the clones and stuff when near the end of season 7, Clone Wars.
But
with the what I mean trying to capture Maul.
The fact is, Mandalorians are like revered warriors. So like I assume maybe like Palpatine or somebody in the Empire was like, we got to get rid of these guys.
They'd be afraid.
Yeah,
they'd be afraid.
So yeah, Moff Gideon was like, he took control of Mandalore, I assume, and he was involved in the Purge. And he probably took the Darksaber there. Do you think we'll see a flashback in season 2 of like we'll see it explicitly?
Maybe,
I hope we do because
maybe
because if you think about it, whenever our Mandalorian, the Mandalorian, sees like Beskar or something that belongs to the Mandalorians, he seems very determined to take it back.
Yeah.
Should we just say spoiler warnings now? Should we put spoiler warning now? Because
it depends. If we got.
Do you guys have anything else to say?
We'll talk about like our hopes and like rumors and stuff. So if you do care about that, even though it's not a confirmed spoiler, just beware. We'll be talking about rumors and stuff, So talking about rumors, there's quite a lot since season 1 came out. So for many months in between, like season 1 and season 2, there were leaks and things that came out over the months, and lots of them were to do with actors being cast for characters. So we've got rumors that Ahsoka is coming back, Sabine, Bo-Katan, and Boba Fett, or Rex, but Rex is.
I know at least one of those. Depending, this kind of spoilers? I'll just say it later. Actually,
yeah. Say that. Okay.
I'll mention it later because it's spoilers.
There are rumors of Ahsoka coming back. Sabine, which is a Rebels character, and she was a Mandalorian, and she was one of the main characters in Rebels. What else was there? Boba Fett and Bo-Katan, she's a big character in Clone Wars, and she's also a character in Rebels. She's basically Satine's sister.
So I was just gonna say I would like to see Ahsoka because Ahsoka's basically the main character of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's confirmed she is, but she basically is. Because like there's a lot of different characters in Clone Wars.
I think
it kind of depends on the episode.
I think she is confirmed. I think they confirmed the actress for her.
Right, yeah.
The question is, can they pull off and make a good live action Ahsoka?
They can, but people won't be happy. People complain.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, people have too high expectations. Like obviously, like there's a limit to what they can do, and like the Clone Wars is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So like it's basically like impossible to follow that up. I think that's why Rebels gets a lot of. I feel like Rebels gets a lot of hate.
Yeah.
And I suspect that's mainly because, not seen it, but I suspect a lot of that is purely because of how good the Clone Wars is. People are just like disappointed.
Yeah. I quite liked Rebels actually. I might even some parts of the Clone Wars feel worse than Rebels. There are some arcs and stories in the Clone Wars which I didn't really enjoy.
It's filler, to be honest.
Yeah, quite filler. Rebels sometimes has filler episodes, but it's got this like consistent arc, consistent story, whilst Clone Wars is made up of different stories.
Yeah,
I feel like Rebels still has multiple things going on at once, right?
Yeah.
It's more like each separate story is still consistent.
Yeah, there are different like arcs. There's like the fight against the Empire.
The Mandalorian arc,
there's the Mandalorian stuff.
The Mandalorian, Maul.
there's the Maul stuff and like the Jedi focused stuff. So yeah, there's quite a bit going on, but they all interconnect basically.
At some point, I think I'm gonna try and rewatch the Clone Wars, but in chronological order,
Oh, you're right.
and
Yeah.
just see how that works.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there was something about in season 1. There's a thing about where the guy got broken out by, or whatever, and then they come back to that later, and I'm like, wait, what order is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely out of
Yeah.
order. Like, I think the first episode chronologically is like in the middle of season 2.
You mean like the Yoda episode?
No,
Not the first episode?
I think I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure I heard
It's
the
Yoda.
first.
It's where Yoda goes to this planet to.
No, that's not the first
and
episode
Ventress is
chronologically
there.
though. That's the
I'm talking
first.
about the first episode altogether. So.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about the first episode chronologically. I think it's in the middle of season 2
All right. Okay.
or something.
Yeah.
And also, actually, it might be the one where like they're all training to be ARC troopers.
Yeah.
Would it be?
I think
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
That's first because that's like a
'Cause,
pre-story. That's like a pre-story.
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
weird because
That's
like
like
you've
their-
already
That's their origin
seen like
story.
on the Rishi. Is it the Rishi outpost?
Yeah, and you
'Cause
already
there's that
see them.
episode.
Yeah.
And you see them all,
Yeah.
and then later, like the next season, you see them like or,
Training.
like, you see them training.
Of
and
course,
that's
but like
kinda confusing.
I actually don't mind if episodes like that are like in the middle of a series because that's sort of like an origin episode, an origin story.
Or like a
sort of episode.
flashback, I guess.
Yeah, that
so-
one. That one's okay, but
Yeah.
I feel like in some cases, I think it's more with the characters. I like forget the characters,
Yeah.
which is my bigger problem. Especially as I've taken a long time to watch it because I had season
Yeah.
1 before I had Disney Plus this year. I had
Mm.
season 1 years ago. So
Oh yeah, no, like the first ever episode of Clone Wars, right? The one I mentioned earlier with Yoda and
Yeah,
Ventress
that
and
one.
stuff.
Yeah.
I definitely watched that like a
I
year or
still
two
really
ago,
like
but
that one.
I only watched the rest of the series this year.
all right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've had season 1 for a long time, so I've probably watched.
Like
first
I
season,
definitely
like,
watched season 1.
5
Then I
or
had
6
kind of
years
a
ago.
yeah. I watched season 1 this during a half term, like February half term earlier this year. But then I had sort of a burnout on Clone Wars, and I was like, I could start season 2, but also meh.
But you did
Oh,
catch
yeah.
up in time for season 7, didn't you? I
I
think...
catched up when episode 5 of season
All
7
right.
came
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't.
So I watched the rest of season 7 as it came out.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the Mandalorian. We were talking about like rumors and different characters that might be coming back. We're gonna like start the season 2 talk now. So yeah, spoiler warning. Yeah, we'll watch the season 2 premiere now because we'll be starting
Do it.
season 2.
Do it. It's good.
It's very good. So, what did you think about season 2, episode 1?
It was good. I did mention the problem with the Mandalorian needs something. Go find someone who has the thing. Says, "Hey, I need this," and they say, "Hey, I've got a problem with this big monster or person that you need to kill," and then they go and kill it, and then he gets the thing. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
a lot of the episodes.
I think it carries on from the same sort of story trope from the first season, I guess. So hopefully, like the future episodes are a bit more.
Hopefully, that's just like their warm up,
Different.
getting back into
Yeah.
it. So they
Yeah.
don't,
But even for a warm up, I do want to say how
don't start with the controversial episode.
Yeah, I guess. But I do want to say how beautiful it looked. I know it's like a desert
my God,
planet.
it looked amazing.
But like, it seems like they've got a really big budget for this show because I've seen other popular shows like Stranger Things, and the CGI in that is
Like a
good
bloody
enough.
dragon.
It's good enough, but nowhere near like Hollywood standard. This was like Jurassic World sort of graphics with the
This
dragon.
was-
It doesn't.
This was
I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
this
I don't feel like it's any sort of green screens or anything. It's definitely
No.
like built.
They don't
stuff.
have. No, what's interesting with the Mandalorian, they've got like a big screen, like a proper screen and then they just have like the background behind it, like CGI background behind it, using like game engine technology. So they don't actually use a green screen. They have a physical, like, it's like a giant TV screen which they stand in front of.
Oh, right.
That's how they film. That's why they can like film all these different locations from the same place. So they wouldn't have been affected as much by the coronavirus.
Oh yeah, because there's loads of
Because like
I thought they when they were doing most like with all the movies, all the scenes
Yeah.
in Tatooine, I think they're filmed in Tunisia.
yeah, they'd have to like go to different countries normally, but with the
Obviously, there are
Mandalorian,
problems with that.
yeah, with the Mandalorian, they could pretty much do most of it in the same place. But yeah, I'm just gonna say the graphics was so good, especially that dragon. I don't know how much they spent on this episode, but it looks like they spent a lot of money.
A dragon.
It's a dragon, like,
And
crate
and when they
dragon.
animated it at the end, like
the
it was-
yeah,
that was like
the death scene of the dragon.
like their carcass and the
Yeah, no, that was a full carcass. Yeah, no.
that
yeah.
was
Big. You know.
It's like realistic.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to mention is how in season 1 all the shots were like, they felt very enclosed. They were pretty close to the characters, and the camera was close to the characters.
They were zoomed out. There were a lot more.
But in season 2, there's a lot of these big shots with like, especially at the end with the dragon fight. It just seems like they're in the desert. It doesn't look like they're on set. That's just how the scale of things was so big.
Do you know the other thing with this episode?
Yeah.
The bigger background cast than normal as well.
Yeah, there was
a lot of
more.
people.
Yeah. Some episodes in this first season had quite a few background characters, like the farm episode where they were defending the village. That had quite a few like background characters.
The rest were more focused on like 5 or 6 characters.
Yeah. The most limited
This was still
show,
focused on like the basically two
characters essentially. The rest were like background characters, I guess.
Yeah.
Something I was a little disappointed in is you bet Baby Yoda basically didn't do anything, or the child, like all his only purpose was
to look cute
for people, was to look cute and for people to say, "Hey, why are you bringing this baby to a literal war zone?"
No, what I love at the start of the episode, I also said this to Seth when I watched the trailer, right? Is when Baby Yoda said, yeah, things are going to go down. Let me just close my pram and stay in
Close my pram.
It
that was funny. and then,
amazing.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Do you know the thing with, it will be hilarious. It's not going to happen, but what if they just find out that Baby Yoda's a girl?
They can't.
They're not.
I think it would be too awkward. They've called him like him loads of times. It would be way too weird.
Also, I feel like
that would get Disney cancelled.
I was gonna say no, but you know, I think I also said this before.
Disney already should have been.
But do you know the span? Do you know the span of Mandalorian? The time span of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
The whole series, as it ends.
Yeah.
The child isn't gonna grow that up much.
No.
Because of its lifespan. It's
Yeah.
only 50 years old now.
He's 50.
Unless the species.
No, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, I'd say this series minimum is going to be like maybe a year or two, quote unquote, a year or two, depending on whatever time cycles Star Wars has, right?
Yeah.
Do you mean maximum?
It's going to be a few years. No, I mean, well, yeah, maximum probably like 3 years is going to be the time span, right?
Yeah.
And that's not going to affect Baby Yoda's intelligence, maturity much at all. It's going to be the child for the majority of the show.
What would be so cute is seeing Baby Yoda like speak his first words. He's gonna be like,
or he just, I mean, maybe he just Yoda. Like in like 5 days just goes from like
this
baby to like fully grown.
What was the time span of season 1?
Like maybe a few months at most.
Weeks, yeah, months at most.
Months at most.
It didn't seem very long.
Yeah, they spent a few weeks at that village place in that planet.
Do they?
Yeah, like a few weeks, maybe 2 or 3. But
oh right.
The show on a whole, season 1, at most a few months. I don't think it went over a very long period.
Oh, I just searched this up to find out how long season
Right,
1 was.
okay.
Apparently, it's around 5 years after the fall of the Empire.
Yeah, 5 years after the fall of the Empire. Yeah.
But like, how long did it take?
I'd say, like we said, probably a few months maximum.
Yeah.
But I do like how it's set 5 years after the fall of the Empire. It shows that the Empire is still a thing, even though they've fallen. Like, you're not gonna suddenly get rid of. You're not gonna suddenly get rid of the Empire. Like, it will take some time, and you've got these remnants, which.
And like, when you think about like the fall of the Empire, really all they did, they destroyed the Death Star and killed Palpatine. But then there's still like thousands of like Star Destroyers and troops around the galaxy.
Yeah.
Like,
just a random thing, right?
Okay.
It took me to the last episode to figure out what they meant by imps. It took me to episode 10, I think, to figure out what they meant by imps.
Oh my. Well done. At least you know.
We're talking about the rebels, you know.
Obviously. Anyway, back to the episode and season 2. There were lots of
about what happens. Or...
Yeah. Well, I mean, we won't like talk about what happens. I will mention like Easter eggs and things that happened. Because I assume people would have seen it already if you're still listening. But anyway,
or you don't care.
Or you don't care.
So on the first thing, you were talking about Boba Fett maybe appearing.
Yeah.
Well,
so
this episode basically confirmed him as dead.
No, I haven't told you this. I told Sal, but you know the last scene with the mysterious guy looking under the twin suns, looking to face the camera. I'm pretty sure that's Boba Fett.
No.
Because that's the actor who's in that is Tamura Morrison, who plays Jango Fett in they just made him look old because Boba Fett would be quite old by now.
Well, that wouldn't make sense. That didn't make sense because his armor survived. The Mandalorian armor, is the one is Boba Fett's armor.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I have a question, quick. Right.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett.
Let's
ended up in the Sarlacc.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe he survived.
I get in originally in canon before Disney, it was canon that he shot his way out. His armor was enough because it takes a Sarlacc something like 1,000. Sorry, because it takes a Sarlacc about 1,000 years to like digest their food or something.
Yeah.
With his like armor, which I guess is Beskar, he could shoot his way out, and he shot his way out of the Sarlacc.
I think.
But then there's no way Jawas would have gotten hold of his armor if he if he was still alive.
But here's my theory. I think the Krayt Dragon ate the Sarlacc that Boba was in. So maybe, and then that's how. So let's say Boba Fett escaped before then. I don't think he would have kept his armor, or if he did, he would have ditched it at some point, because I assume Boba Fett was this notorious bounty hunter who worked for the Empire. And when the Empire fell... He
worked for anyone.
Well, I don't know. But I feel like he would have...
bounty hunters weren't exactly well liked before.
I feel like he would have ditched it at some point, because he's not a real Mandalorian. He just wears the armor.
Isn't that his dad's armor?
I don't know.
Isn't that Jango's armor?
Yeah.
Repainted.
I'm pretty sure the Fetts, Jango and Boba, aren't real Mandalorians, so they wouldn't like hold the armor as precious as Din would, for example. If you're a true Mandalorian, you would like revere it more.
Boba would have, because it was his dad's.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I just first also,
I see.
Even people who aren't Mandalorians are after it because the Beskar is so valuable.
Expensive, yeah.
It just, and it's like the ultimate armor. It just does. I just don't see any situation where he would have given it away, and it seems like it would be hard to take it by force, because like Boba Fett, apparently one of the best bounty hunters.
Or maybe it
was
a
bit crap in the movies though.
Maybe he just lost it over a period of time. Maybe when he was getting digested in the Sarlacc, it came off or something. Or
Because
basically,
it makes sense that the armor is on Tatooine, you know?
Yeah.
'cause-
Yeah.
Basically, the Jawas managed to get their hands on it. Boba Fett is still alive, if that's Boba Fett. It could be Rex,
Won't be surprised.
but Rex would be
What?
really old. Rex
Look
would
at
be
his
very
eye.
old.
Look at his
No,
eyes.
it wouldn't be Rex. Rex would be dead because of the
Yeah.
double speed aging.
So that's why people are saying it's Boba. Because
Well, if it's the actor, then I see what you're
yeah,
saying.
it's the actor.
But I don't
Yeah.
see the situation how they can make it work with him.
It will be
losing the
interesting
armor.
to see what he thinks about it. Because the last scene was Boba Fett watching Din and Cobb Vanth, who wears Boba's armor. Basically, he's watching them kill the dragon. And that's like the last scene. He's been
Also,
watching them
you
all
said
the time.
the dragon might have eaten the Sarlacc, but I don't think it did because, like, they mentioned it ate the Sarlacc, but I think that was like where it was living.
I mean, yeah, they mentioned how he ate the Sarlacc and lives in the Sarlacc pit, which
But I think that's
I think
that's a
I think
different Sarlacc pit.
it might be different, but I think it like proves the point that it can eat a Sarlacc.
Yeah, but
I
I
feel
think
like-
like the cave. I think the cave was the Sarlacc pit they were talking about.
Yeah,
Because
So-
I was gonna say, as soon as they mentioned the Great Dragon, I immediately just went on my phone to search up what they were. In light reading, literally whatever comes up on Google first. They're creatures that were vastly hunted because do you know the white pearl that the Tusken pulled out?
yeah.
They're extremely valuable, and they were
Yeah.
hunted
Oh.
widely for those pearls.
Fun fact: apparently, you can make lightsabers out of them because they're made of kyber crystal or something. Those pearls or
Right.
something. And also another fun fact: that pearl came from Knights of the Old Republic, so they basically recanonized it from KOTOR.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
is cool.
because if you look at the drawings of them, they look like rather like drawings, really.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the thing.
I
Where
do
is
like
Crate? Because I feel I've come across Crate before. Like,
Crate the
they appear
planet
in the
is the
Clone Wars.
Crate as in the planet is the salt planet in the Last Jedi, but that's
Oh,
like
that's where it's from.
unrelated. But the Crate Dragon, I think, it's in A New Hope. A skeleton of a Crate Dragon is in A New Hope.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that the giant? Oh, that's the
That's
giant,
the giant skeleton
you
thing.
see.
I think that's a
Yeah.
Crate Dragon. And
Yeah,
then,
no, it probably is. Probably is.
And then I think the other appearances of Crate Dragons in other Star Wars are in like comics and books. I think I don't remember seeing it in any other movie or show. So yeah. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Crate
Yeah,
Dragon.
I
What else was there?
Cool.
There was what was it called? There was R4 from A New Hope. He was
What
like
do
the
you mean?
droid.
I thought they said no.
Are you sure it's R4?
She said R5. It was
Was it
R5.
R5? I think
Yeah, she said
people
R5.
pointed.
It was a point. R4 has a domed head like R2D2, right?
R4's the one in A
Oh.
New Hope, right? Or was it R5?
No, isn't R4 Obi-Wan's droid?
Okay, so
R4
R5
is
is the
also
one
a
in
droid.
A New Hope.
Do
Basically,
you
the
know-
red
we'll talk
droid
about the
from A New
droid, the
Hope.
woman.
The Force sensitive one.
I think the red droid from A New Hope is the droid of the woman because it's got like burn marks where when it blew up.
5D4.
When it blew itself up.
Yeah.
Because it's
Like
Force
in the
sensitive.
in the
One of
episode.
the strangest pieces of Star Wars canon ever.
Yeah, but in the episode it's got like burn marks, so people are saying that this droid is R5 or whatever it's called, which is pretty
Might be,
cool, I
actually.
guess. But yeah,
Might be.
as I was saying earlier, the Mandalorian is known for like bringing in Easter eggs and bringing in details from like the past, like the ice cream thing. You know, like the container which contained Beskar, and in the episode, there was like a similar container which contained like crystals. That was like an Easter egg from Empire Strikes Back, which was like this ice cream machine, and people use it a lot to cosplay.
Seth, do you know R5? Right?
Yeah.
Quick mention. I think apparently he might have been in season 1 in the cantina. Do you know when he first came to Tatooine?
Yeah, people mentioned R5.
He was in there. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is this. I think it's the same R5. It is the same R5.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The Force
according to the
sensitive droid
Wikipedia.
is following.
Maybe he's after Baby Yoda. Maybe it can detect.
It's gonna get trained by R5. We know droids can be Jedi, don't we? From
What?
Wait, what?
Because isn't the guy who does? Because the person who
What,
creates the
Grievous? Or...
lightsaber, who builds the lightsabers.
Oh, from the Clone
is a droid.
Wars. Yeah.
I don't think he's not a Jedi himself. He's just a droid with all the knowledge of how to build a lightsaber.
But he
Oh,
could,
Jedi
doesn't he also
himself.
like protect them and then fight with a lightsaber and like?
I mean,
He's
but
the guy with the
Grievous
lightsaber.
fights with a lightsaber, and Grievous isn't force sensitive.
He's not a Jedi.
I get.
No,
But
he's
anyway.
not trained. He has been
just knows how
trained
to
in your
use the
Jedi
lightsaber.
ways by Count Dooku.
The thing is, no, that guy, he doesn't use a lightsaber to fight. He uses his like tools to fight.
Who? The droid.
The droid who helps build the lightsabers.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
Oh,
I
right.
does he?
I
I
don't
can't
remember.
really remember the episode. I just remember.
I remember the episode. He doesn't use a lightsaber.
I remember they called him Master though and stuff, so I just kind of assumed he was a Jedi.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a Jedi himself. He had all the knowledge of materials, all the ways to build a lightsaber, but he wasn't one himself.
Yeah.
Also, it was canon that R5 was force. If it's
Was
the same
it?
one, was force
Jeez.
sensitive at one point.
No,
Because there
it
was
is
like
the same one.
because the whole point was the droid had like a vision of how important R2 and C3PO were, and they were gonna choose him. So instead, because he realized Luke needed R2.
Yeah, Luke needed. Yeah.
He
I
deliberately blew
see.
himself up.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Like I don't know. That might be legends now.
But
But
it's
that was
like
definitely a thing at one point.
it's good for your headcanon, I guess, because it doesn't like conflict with anything.
I was gonna
And
say,
it's
can I
kinda
say something?
It's
stupid,
kind
though.
of funny as well. Yeah.
Harry, Seth, when you
Mhm.
guys were talking about Rex, right? I don't think Rex is dead because apparently Rex fought in the Battle of Endor.
Yeah, but like, this
In
is
5
5 years
I
after.
don't think he's dead.
He might have died.
But that's 10 years.
He'll be
from-
in retirement. He'll be in retirement.
If he
right?
was still alive, he would look really, really old. The guy at the end of the
how
scene.
many years is it after Attack of the Clones?
And
Look
now
up how many years
it's
the
Because
Mandalorian
Rex
is
is
there.
in Rebels and he fights in the Battle of Endor.
it's like 30 years after.
30
So,
years after, so he'd
Yeah.
be like
Rex-
60.
Rex wouldn't be dead, but he wouldn't be fighting. He would be in retirement somewhere.
But
You know.
the person at the end, I don't think is Rex.
It's
'Cause
not Rex. It's
Rex
not
would
Rex.
be much
It's
older.
definitely not.
It's-
Because Rex would be 60 if it's 30 years
Yeah.
after.
This
Attack
guy
of the
is
Clones.
more
Wait,
likely
it's
to be
30 years
Boba.
after Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
So, like, all these people would have been around during the Clone Wars.
Basically, yeah.
So
But
can
how
you-
do they not?
can you-
Oh my god!
Can you just think
How do
about
they
it?
not know the
Luke,
Jedi?
Luke isn't that old during the original trilogy, and he was born at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Mm.
Well, you know, Han Solo was like 10 years old during the Clone Wars,
He knows about the
and
Jedi.
he says he does. No, but he doesn't. Like
He
in
doesn't?
Episode 4, he doesn't believe in the Force, and
That's
he like
true.
doesn't believe in the
'cause
Jedi.
if you think about it,
Like it doesn't
all
make
the
sense.
all the Jedi being destroyed, they're gonna have become legends.
Yeah,
Not really 10 years though.
all the information would have been censored, and also, it's not like people
But 10
know the Jedi are real. Like, even if you were born during the time of the Jedi, you would, at most, you would think it's like a
No,
rumor.
but they
or
were pretty
a
well
myth.
known. They were literally
Yeah.
leading the Grand Army of the Republic.
They were all generals if you were a Jedi, pretty much.
I don't
They
know.
were.
Because not every planet was touched by the war. Like,
Yeah.
Tatooine didn't have a war in it.
The majority were.
But anyway,
But the point
back to
is,
Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
There were other Easter eggs, like Cobb Vanth riding Anakin's pod racer. Like, that was a
I just-
part of his
Yeah, I
pod
noticed
racer.
that.
That was pretty cool.
Was
Like
it
that was
exactly
that actually
Anakin's?
Anakin's engine or was it a generic pod racer engine?
I think it was Anakin's.
It did look like
Yeah.
Anakin's, but I think it had been.
It could have
repainted.
been a generic one, but it does look like Anakin's one, which is
It
pretty
does look
cool.
like
It's a book
Anakin's, but
character.
Anakin's was originally painted.
Yeah,
in
and
blue.
Cobb Vanth is a book character, and he's not even like
Is
a
he?
major book character. He's like, basically, I've read the book. He's from the Aftermath trilogy, And
I've read one of those, but it was a while ago.
And like they've got these interlude chapters for extra world building, and he's one of those really insignificant characters.
I mean, that's sort of what Mandalorian's for, almost.
Yeah. But like it's pretty cool that they brought in a book character that was actually relevant, because in the book he bought the Boba Fett's armor from the Jawas. Basically, the backstory is pretty much the same in the book and in the show. So yeah, he bought the armor and then he like defended his town. So yeah, the backstory is pretty much the same. But it's interesting to see that they brought in a book character.
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty cool.
Like most people, like they would have just retconned the book maybe and ignored it. Like if this was Rian Johnson or J.J. Abrams, they probably would have just ignored the expanded universe and retconned it later.
J.J. Abrams would have just made up a story and then just done it and then just said the dark side of the Force leads to many abilities, some consider.
Yeah, so if J.J. Abrams or Rian Johnson, or basically the people involved in the sequel trilogy, if they had like an idea, they would have just made it without considering the established expanded universe. And with The Mandalorian, instead of like ignoring the expanded universe and retconning it, they basically embrace it and they incorporate it whenever they can, which is really good.
Yeah, I wanted to say that the only nod to the expanded universe in the films is when all the Jedi are talking to Rey and Kanan and Ahsoka are included in there.
In the sequel films.
Like the sequel trilogy was so rushed and like disorganized, I'd say.
Sequel trilogy was so bad, honestly.
People were saying, do you know the last film itself could have been 3 films?
Basically, it could have been. It was so fast. Yeah. But yeah, like The Mandalorian.
The Force Awakens was decent.
Yeah, I liked that.
Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker were both terrible in completely different ways.
They just decided to yeet Finn out of there to some unknown gambling planet.
Thing is, with the I won't talk about this because we'll go on for ages.
Oh, another episode. But
point is,
in terms of
Mandalorian, like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and all the other writers and stuff, they're doing great, honestly, with like using the expanded universe as reference and basically, you know, making a great show.
Seth, I did want to mention one thing about hopes or like things that I think that you've also mentioned to me, right?
Yeah.
You know seeing how he's Force sensitive, the child,
yeah.
They're gonna end up going to some Jedi related place, and you sent me something on Instagram about the trailer having an icy planet where they're standing, and how you thought that was either that might be a Jedi temple or the Jedi temple in which they went to build their lightsabers in the Clone Wars.
Ilum, that planet with the kyber crystals and all that.
So it's either a Jedi temple or that Jedi temple,
or it could be Hoth, but like there's nothing on Hoth.
Because I feel like either season 2 or season 3, they're gonna go to an extremely Jedi related place, whether it be a temple or whether it be something else.
And that's why there are rumors of like Ahsoka being in the show. She might be the Jedi, even though she isn't a Jedi anymore. She knows about the Jedi.
She's a grey Jedi, as people call it.
So yeah.
Something interesting is there are only 3 of Yoda's species.
Yeah, this.
There's only 3 ever appeared. So you've got Yoda, the Star Wars universe,
you've got Yaddle,
and they're all extremely powerful.
Powerful, yeah. I mean, like the baby is like
I've never heard.
He lifted up like a giant rhino.
Yeah, and it can like stop fire.
Yoda is like the most
Baby Yoda is so even as a child is very powerful.
Yoda is like the most powerful Jedi of all time,
and
Yaddle,
she was
you said there were 3.
Yeah, Baby Yoda, Yoda, and Yaddle.
Right, Baby Yoda is one of them. Yeah, right. I recognize this guy. He has hair.
Yeah,
it's a she.
She has actual hair.
Yeah, and apparently she like died saving the whole universe or something between episode 1 and 2.
The whole universe.
And she was on the Jedi Council, so she was clearly like extremely powerful.
But yeah,
he's a girl, and Yoda's the guy.
Anyway, What, are you like putting two and two together? Is that why?
What are
Baby
you
Yoda's a thing?
inferring here?
And Baby Yoda's around 50 years old.
Please
What?
spell it out.
Yes.
No, but
Fun fact: some people talk about Baby Yoda
I
being the
hate
chosen
that.
one because he was born at the same time as Anakin. Like they're like the same age.
yeah, but Anakin was the chosen. What?
Anakin is the chosen one,
That's
but like
so dumb. Do they not understand he brought balance to the Force?
I don't think
Anyway,
they'll mess around with that, honestly, with the
The
writers.
point
But
is,
it's
they are
interesting.
I hope they go to a temple or something
yeah.
like that. I
Yeah.
definitely
Oh, yeah.
hope Sabine comes because she's a
She's a
literal blood
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Mm,
She's
yeah.
a Mandalorian by blood.
Can
yeah.
we just talk about
She is
how
a
bad the Jedi are at math?
At maths.
The Jedi, they have this prophecy. Let's bring balance to the Force. The Jedi, there are also over 10,000 Jedi, and there are 2 Sith.
Anyway, we should probably sort of bring it and because
We're gonna This
They
is
did
a
not
very
spend
long
enough on
episode.
the math budget.
They, maybe instead of teaching the younglings like fighting and stuff, they should also include maths into the curriculum.
Or maybe they should just teach them to be grey Jedi, like Ahsoka, not like absolutely.
I mean,
like...
that would solve the whole problem.
Yeah. Anyway.
Isn't that what the original Jedi?
Jedi.
Jedi.
Yeah.
Jedi, but spelled weirdly with an apostrophe somewhere.
Yeah, we can go on and on about this. But yeah, we'll move on because that's been a very long episode. We don't really have time to do all the other bits and bobs that we usually do, so yeah, we're gonna end the episode here. So thanks a lot, Harry, and thanks a lot, Sal, for basically being in this Star Wars special.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
And thanks for having me.
And yeah, make sure to check out Harry's content and YouTube channel and stuff. Do you want?
If you want to see the best content by any YouTuber with less than 10 subscribers, make sure to subscribe. I currently have a whole one video of me completing a Geometry Dash level. It's amazing.
Guys, you should get him up to at least 30 subs.
Yeah, that'd be a great goal.
But actually, I am going to start uploading proper content, and I want to continue doing that, so I would appreciate it. And also, if you watch Twitch, check me out on Twitch.
Check him out.
I try to stream sometimes, but I'm not very consistent. But it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's basically it. And also, just make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel and make sure you're following if you want to keep up with the latest podcast. And we'll see
wherever you are, follow or subscribe, whatever you do.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time with the next installment of Geek Mythology. So
this has been God. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Goodbye.
Bye.